Hey there, back for my third YouTube video ever. First want to thank my friend Norman Maslov up in Seattle. I got a few more followers, which would not have happened without him name dropping me in one of his videos, so thank you for that. It's fun to reach more people. And we're just getting started here. So to Norman, cheers, and I'll keep watching your videos. They're great. As the sort of title suggests, here I'm going to talk about 7 records that I wish more people knew about. These records were not, I'm not saying that they were unsuccessful or didn't reach somewhat of a wide audience. What I'm really covering here are records that I adore, that I listen to as often as I listen to the best Dylan records or the best Beatles records, sometimes even more so. So these are records that are incredibly dear to me. Only 5 of the 7 are actually issued on vinyl, so 2 of the 7 are I'm going to show the CD covers. That's my dog yawning. He's at my feet today, so apologies for the noise, although this is gonna happen a lot in these videos. He's usually next to me. Now he's passing out, so we should be good. So these are records that I really, really love. No time period. This is dating back to, I think the earliest is early mid-90s, and a few are just a couple years old. Maybe one is a couple years old. So let's get started. Again, these, by no means am I saying that these were failures. I just want to keep that clear, or make that clear. But they're just records that I think have, in some respects, have sort of gone under the radar, but they, in my view, deserve to be mentioned among some of the great records of the times, or the time that they came out. I plan on doing this at the end of every video that I do. Here I'm going to go through 7, but going forward I'm just going to probably have 1 in the last sort of 3 minutes of whatever I'm covering on that video. So let's get it started. Number 1 is a Tim Easton record. This record is called Special 20. It came out in 1998, I believe, on New West Records. Maybe it was reissued. I think it was reissued on New West. I'm not sure where it originally was released. And it doesn't say back here. Back on the back of this says 2001 New West Records. But I believe it originally came out in 98. Tim Easton, if you don't know him, is a fantastic singer-songwriter. He was in a band called the Haynes Boys. I think they had just a couple records, and then Tim went solo. He's been putting out records for 20 plus years now as a solo act. He also put out a couple records with, I think, friends of his in Alaska under the name Easton Stagger Phillips. They are both great. The first one's called One for the Ditch, and the second is called, I think, Revolutionary Road. I think that's it. But this was either his first or second solo record, and I listened to it today for the first time in probably a year, and it's still fantastic. Incredible songs. Hey Rosine, one of my favorite songs of the 90s. All the Pretty Girls Leave Town is such a beautiful song. Troublesome Kind, Just Like Home. Top to bottom, just a fantastic record. I'm looking at some of the liner notes here. I've seen Tim Easton live a few times. First time was at South by Southwest it was either 2000 or 2001. I think in the same night I saw Tim Easton, and I believe I then walked to see the original Harmony Ridge Creek Dippers, which is Mark Olson and Victoria Williams' band, after the first time that they left the Jayhawks, or the Jayhawks disbanded for the first time. And I believe I closed the night by seeing Elliott Smith at La Zona Rosa. I may have some of the days mixed, but I think that was the night. Tim Easton was incredible. He had a stand-up bass player from I think that guy was in a band called The Sun that was around very briefly, but this is, again, just a spectacular record. I've had it for now 20 plus years, and it still sounds as good as it did when it first came out. You can find Tim Easton's pretty active on social media. I follow him on Facebook and maybe Instagram. He's active on Facebook. He's sort of like a present day Woody Guthrie. He travels all over the world mostly with just his guitar. I think he was recently did a tour of Russia. He tours. He does a lot of tours in Alaska and then throughout Europe. And he has 5 to 7 records that I love. And this is the one that turned me on to him. Special 20, incredible record. Number 2 is Rachel's. This is a band that was on Quarter Stick Records, mid-90s, looks like 1996. For friends who came over to my my channel via Norman Maslov, this was recommended to me by the Archivist. That's her nickname. She's been on Norman's channel quite a bit lately, and I think a few months back. When she and I worked together, this is one of the first bands that she sort of pushed on me. We were always turning each other on to new music, and this, if I'm not mistaken, is all instrumental. I often listen to this record to relax. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous record. So I'm looking at the artists here, piano, viola, and cello. A truly beautiful, beautiful record. And the title is Music for, I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, Joan Shelley. So you can make, whoever knows how that's really pronounced can make fun of me. But just a wonderful, wonderful record. Whoa, there's a sort of a risque shot on the back. Let's leave that out. And one that I would recommend anyone looking for something a little bit different. This is not music that I would normally listen to, but the songs are just so gorgeous that I listen to this record probably once a month, and have for many, many years. Just a truly, truly beautiful record, and I highly recommend you listen to it. Thanks to the Archivist. Next on this is Marah, band out of Philadelphia. This record has the amazing title, Let's Cut the Crap and Hook Up Later On Tonight. This is Marah's, it's their first record. Their second was Kids in Philly, which is just as good. But this is a sensational record. For a good 2 years in the late 90s, I think it was around 98 to 2000, I was living in New York at the time. I was living in Brooklyn at the time. And I used to travel about once a month down to Philadelphia to see Marah live. It's the only band I've ever taken the stage with. They invited me up on a Halloween show at the Pontiac. It was sold out, and they were covering a Lynyrd Skynyrd song. I can't remember which, Give Me 3 Steps maybe. I was side stage, and they asked me to come up and sing along. There may be video of that somewhere. A bunch of the songs from that night can be found on YouTube, but I have yet to find my performance, which was definitely embarrassing. But I had about 12 Coronas in me. That's what I was drinking with Marah. I used to hang out with these guys from time to time. They were really sweet. I saw them at the Tin Angel a bunch in Philadelphia, where they would often invite me to come backstage after the shows. Just a lot of fun. I remember, so the two lead guys are Dave and Serge Belenko, I believe it's pronounced. And I came home one night, it's around 99 or so, and there was a voicemail message from Serge Belenko inviting me to their holiday party in Philly. So I drove down. I believe my buddy Brendan came. He became friends with the band as well. And they had an incredible holiday party. And I think they've done it many, many years after, but I don't live on the East Coast anymore, and sort of lost touch with these guys. They are still around, and I think they're still playing songs from these records now. But this was a great period of my life. Again, from 98 to 2000, I think I once said this was like seeing the Rolling Stones in their prime. That's what their shows felt like. I would leave their shows soaked in sweat. And just a remarkable rock and roll band. I hope to see them again someday. Marah, I already said the title. There's the cool cover. This is a great rock and roll record. Next, Unopened, because I typically listen to it in my car, driving, but I will open it soon. I listened to it this morning, and this is from 2014 or 15. Joan Shelley, Over and Even. Probably my favorite musical discovery of the 2010s. I think she has 3 records out, maybe 4. One was produced by Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. This one has the great James Elkington performing on it, as well as her musical partner Nathan Salzberg, who's just a phenomenal guitarist, as is James Elkington. James Elkington plays in the Tweedy Band. This is as good of a singer-songwriter record as you will find anywhere. Joan Shelley, Over and Even. She is from, I believe, Louisville, Kentucky. I think Will Oldham plays on this as well. Will Oldham... No, don't see him here, but I'm pretty sure he plays on some of her records, coming from that Louisville scene. Again, all of her records are great. She has a new one this year. Her self-titled is the one that's produced by Jeff Tweedy, and the one this year is also great, but this is my favorite. There are some... Stay on My Shore is one of my favorite songs in many years. Easy Now, there's a performance, I think it's KEXP, of Joan Shelley performing Easy Now that is so beautiful. Can't recommend this record enough, and what a treat it is to be around when this incredible songwriter is making records. Check it out. Last vinyl this record is 16, 17 years old. This, I think, did fairly well, but in my view, this is right up there with that Joan Shelley record, one of the best singer-songwriter records, I would say, for this one ever made. And this is Josh Rouse's 1972. It did not come out in 1972. I think Josh Rouse was born in 72 or somewhere around there. It came out in 2013. Rykodisc reissued it in... Wait, no, it came out in 2003. Rykodisc reissued it on vinyl, Rykodisc or Yep Rock, maybe both, I don't know, on 2013, produced by Brad Jones, very minimalist, back to the cover. This is a phenomenal record. When this came out, so my buddy Dave introduced me to... No, he didn't introduce me to Josh Rouse. We had seen Josh Rouse open up for Sunvolt at... Where was it? It was at the Bowery Ballroom. And I think we bought his first record, which I think was Dressed Up Like Nebraska, which was good, but it was a good record. I'll just leave it at that. And then one day, I remember it was winter, we were both living in Brooklyn, my buddy Dave asked me to come over just to hang out. We were gonna do whatever, just drink beers and chill on a Saturday or Sunday. And he put on the record, I believe, that preceded this, Under Blue Star Sky, Under Cold Blue Stars, I believe it was called. And I remember just sitting there saying, who on earth is this? And he said it was Josh Rouse. He had a run of 3 records, Under Cold Blue Stars, which I think that's the title, then 1972, and then Nashville. And all 3 are superb. But this one, just play it right now. You should play all these records, but I would get on this one as quickly as you can because the songs are just so fantastic. The best songs, Flight Attendant is an incredible song. Comeback Light Therapy is just a great upbeat track. The song Rise, right here, the last track on the album, When I was thinking of leaving Brooklyn and moving to the West Coast, I used to play this song over and over and over because it was inspiring me to make a change in my life. I think the line is 30 years old and nothing's changed. And then there's something about the F train, I think, in Brooklyn. And I was 30 years old at the time. And I remember I would be waiting for the F train. I think there's an F train line here. There's some Brooklyn reference. Tremendous record. Go listen to it. And then go deeper in the Josh Rouse catalog. So those are the 5 records. And now I will share 2 CDs that are 2 of my all-time favorites. And records that I still tell people about regularly. And the first is from 1997. It's Richard Buckner's Devotion and Doubt. Richard Buckner, a great singer-songwriter who I believe this is his 2nd record. This is his first major label record. He was on MCA, I think, for 2 records, this one and Since, which followed. But this record it's dark, but the songwriting, I guess I'm really into the songwriters today. That wasn't the intent, but I'm looking at the last CD and it's more songwriter stuff. A Goodbye Rye is probably, I think this is about his breakup with his first wife, if I'm not mistaken. A Goodbye Rye is one of the best breakup songs ever, which reminds me, today is 45 years since Blood on the Tracks came out. Speaking of a breakup record, doesn't get much better than that, although this is up there. So if you listen to this, I would start with A Goodbye Rye, then listen to 4 a.m., Song of 27. My good buddy, that was his, it may still be, like his AIM. Does anybody remember AIM on this? America Online Instant Message. That was his handle for a long time, Song of 27. Ed's song is great, Lil Wallet Picture. Richard Buckner's still making records. It's been a few years. He's on Merge. Merge puts out everything. But unfortunately, this one has not been reissued on vinyl since it's on a major, and who knows what's happening there. So if anybody knows how we can get this out on vinyl, I'll be the first to buy it. May even be the first to help fund it. I don't know. I need to look into this. But listen to this record. Beautiful, beautiful record. And last, certainly not least, is an EP, the best EP I own. And it came out in 1996 on A&M Records, 4 tracks by Kelly Willis. Kelly Willis, singer-songwriter from Texas. I'm not sure where in Texas. I think she lives in Austin now with her singer-songwriter husband, Bruce Robeson. I saw her and Bruce a few years ago up in Berkeley. They were sensational. I saw Kelly Willis at the Village Underground in New York. I have a photo of that somewhere, of that show. That was probably early 2000s. Kelly Willis is just a treasure. What an incredible talent. Joining her on this record are the band 16 Horsepower, as well as Gary Loris from the Jayhawks, as well as the first incarnation, is that the word, of Sunvolt, which I talked about in the last video. 4 songs on this: Fading Fast, What World Are You Living In, He Don't Care About Me, and Aren't I True? All 4 spectacular songs. I've been saying that word a lot. I'm really getting into the hyperbole. We knew that would come, or I knew that would come. For a while, this was hard to find. I don't know if it is anymore. And I'm not sure if it's on streaming services. But Kelly Willis, Fading Fast, a remarkable, remarkable EP, and one that my friends and I played endlessly in the mid to late 2000s. So those are 7 records that I think if you dive into, I think you will enjoy, and you may come away with some gems that you otherwise would have had no exposure to. And like I said, I'm gonna end every video by pointing out one record that I wish that more people or more folks knew about or would listen to. And that's it for this one. Number 3. We'll see you next time.